There'll be a lot of you out there today carving one of these, but whatever you do, I beg you, do not throw out your pumpkins. These bad boys have so much flavor, and today I'm going to show you exactly what to do with it. Let's make some pumpkin coffee cocktails. All right, welcome back to the Coffee Cocktail channel. I'm Dan Fellows, and today we're going to be making a zero waste pumpkin spiced saccharum. And then stick around till the end of the video where I'm going to show you how to use that to make a delicious, luxurious cocktail perfect for autumn coming into winter. So everyone loves Halloween, obviously, but it's actually a very wasteful time of year. And literally millions and millions of these pumpkins go straight into the bin after being carved, and they don't even get eaten, which I think is a real tragedy. So today we're going to fix that. So to make our pumpkin spiced saccharum, you're going to need your leftover pumpkin, golden caster sugar, a selection of your favorite spices. I'm going with clove, cinnamon, vanilla, and nutmeg, 1 orange, and then also some vodka, which is optional but kind of recommended because this is going to be a big old batch size, because it'd be pointless to make a small batch with a pumpkin being quite so large. So the first thing we want to do is take our pumpkin and chop it up nice and finely. You want 400 grams of pumpkin, which is chopped up quite small to increase the surface area, so we get plenty of extraction when we make our syrup. And this is going to be the basis of our pumpkin spiced saccharum. So now we've got this, we want to whack it into our bowl, which wants to be nice and big on a set of scales. So pop in, first of all, our sliced pumpkin, and then we're going to go 400 grams of golden caster sugar. So this method of using sugar to extract the kind of moisture from the pumpkin is similar to oleosaccharum, which is where we extract the oils from citrus peels using sugar. So I'm going to add 400 grams of sugar here, which is quite a lot, but this is going to be really good at kind of pulling all the moisture out of the pumpkin, so we get the base of our syrup to taste like pumpkin, which is exactly what we want. Then to this, I'm going to add much more clove than I usually would. So I'm going with 8 cloves, and I always caution people against adding too much clove. But if you think about a pumpkin spice latte, it's full of clove flavor and it's kind of delicious. So we're going to go with that. We also want 15 grams of cinnamon, which we've broken up quite small. And this is just going to give it a little bit more of that kind of warming flavor. And the reason to break it up, again, is to increase that extraction, because this is only going to be in here for a fairly short time. So you want to get as much surface area as possible. So 15 grams of cinnamon is equivalent to 3 or 4 cinnamon sticks, 4 small ones, 15.0 in fact. And then we want to grate in 2 grams of nutmeg. So mind your fingers. And this will just give it, again, a really nice kind of wintry, autumn, fall kind of flavor. 2 grams doesn't sound very much, but it really does make a big difference. Whoops, my bad. So 2 grams of nutmeg is about half a nutmeg shell, ball, half a nutmeg, essentially, and the peel of 1 orange. So by adding this peel, we'll just get a little bit of acidity in there, a little bit of freshness in our syrup, which is really nice, because we don't want to add any citrus juice, which you'll see why later. Again, quite autumnal, wintry aromas and flavors going on. And then finally, we want to split open a vanilla pod in half, just to expose the kind of inner workings of the vanilla, which has so much flavor. We're going to scrape this out, so get all of that really nice kind of vanilla, delicious paste almost. Going to pop this in from both sides. Just loosely chop through the kind of outer part of the vanilla, and then we're going to put the whole thing in, and it's going to smell fantastic, which it does. So get right in there. You want to really get this mixed together. And then as you can see, the sugar's really starting to take on some of that moisture, and it's already starting to work. However, don't be tempted too soon to make this into our syrup, because you actually want the spices to really infuse into the sugar, which takes about 24 hours. Cover it with a plate, set it to one side, and when you return, you'll have something like this, which is almost like a syrup in itself. You can see all of the pumpkins really softened down, all the spices have definitely done their thing. It smells incredible. And then we have a few things we want to do to this to turn it into our final pumpkin spice saccharum. So first of all, you want to add 200 grams of pumpkin juice. I juiced this on the Sage Blucer, which I highly recommend, which I'll link below. But if you don't have a juicer, you can blend up the pumpkin and then pass it through cheesecloth, which will do a similar job, although it'll take a long time. And then finally, we're gonna go 200 grams of vodka. And the reason for this is I really wanna kind of extend that shelf life. So as you can see, this has made a lot of syrup, but by adding that vodka, it'll last much longer in the fridge. That is super tasty. So now we've got our finished mix, we wanna pass this through a sieve into a bottle. Okay, so now we've got our delicious pumpkin spiced saccharum made with 400 grams of chopped up pumpkin, 400 grams of golden castor sugar, 8 cloves, 15 grams of cinnamon, 2 grams of grated nutmeg, 1 vanilla pod, and the peel of 1 orange, all really well mixed together and allowed to completely kind of do its thing for around about 24 hours. Finished with 200 grams of pumpkin juice and 200 grams of vodka, we're ready to make our pumpkin spiked latte, which is the cocktail we're going to make today. So this is a super simple recipe, a perfect kind of autumnal recipe. It's got kind of Irish cream vibes going on, but it's incredibly refined, so don't be put off. And it's equal parts, so 50 ml of pumpkin spiced saccharum, I should say, which we're about to spike. 50 ml of strong filter coffee, which I brewed at a 1:10 ratio on an AeroPress, giving it a really good stir to get that extraction really high. We're gonna go 50 ml of bourbon, but you can use pretty much any brown spirit for this. It'll all work really well. I just like the kind of mapley things going on in the bourbon, but you can use whiskey, you can use rum, you can use even vanilla vodka works quite nicely. So play around with your favorite spirit. And then essentially we're gonna make half and half. So this recipe calls for whole milk or alternative milk, so whichever's your favorite. And then 50 ml of double cream, or I'm going with oat cream. And this just brings loads of really nice body. And then to finish the drink, not equal parts, you want to add 2 grams of a 1:5 saline solution made with 1 gram of good quality salt to 5 grams of water. This is actually 10 grams to 50, so keeping that 1:5 ratio, and we're adding 2 grams to our final drink. And now we've added that, we want to give the cocktail a really good shake with ice. So, not a long shake, but quite a hard shake. You want to get the integration and the texture without too much dilution. Next up, we're going to fine strain the whole drink into a frozen glass, but we're not going to add any ice to this because, like I say, we don't want any more dilution, just what we've already got. And you can see it's kind of creamy and luxurious. Perhaps not typical of the cocktails I usually build on this channel, but don't let this fool you. This is extremely refined, extremely delicious, and extremely complex. So we're garnishing with a little dried pumpkin crisp, which is another way you can use up your pumpkins, as well as juicing and saccharizing, which we've done today. And then we're just gonna give it a little grating of nutmeg, just to give a little bit of aroma on the nose. And there we have the delicious pumpkin spiked latte. Happy Halloween. Happy all year round. This isn't just a Halloween drink. That is just delicious. It's like the best Irish cream you've ever tried. You got the pumpkin coming through, you got the spice coming through, a little bit of coffee in there. Creamy, but not overpoweringly creamy. Very, very complex. So there we have the pumpkin spiked latte. As I said, please do not throw away your pumpkins. They're super delicious. They make delicious coffee cocktails like this one, but you can also use that syrup in lots of other cocktails as well. So do experiment and let me know what you do with it in the comments. So if you found value from this, I really hope you'll subscribe, which I will put here. So make sure you give that a click. And if you want to learn about Oleo Saccharum, which is the kind of original inspiration behind this method, I'll put that here. And then if you want to learn how to apply this to leftover coffee, I'll put it here to learn about coffee saccharum. So happy Halloween, happy all year round. This is a delicious drink, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.